Hey, fellow agents. I had my attorney on our Facebook Live. You can pop over to Facebook and watch that. It's just on my profile if we're friends. You can watch it if we're not friends, friend me. And we just went through kind of how we work together, what is important in an attorney, and what sort of I have found not to work very well. And if you work with attorneys, I'd love to hear if it's any different in your market, in your state. We do work with title companies, but we work with them through an attorney here. So it's a little bit, I think, unusual. And Illinois is not a state that requires attorneys, but in my market, we always use attorneys. So there are other places in Illinois that use them less often, but we pretty much, I will always use one because I just don't know how to do what they do. And I would never put my clients at a disadvantage. They handle typically starting with inspection. So in Illinois, or again, I don't think this is necessarily a statewide thing, but according to our local contract, we have 5 days of attorney review and inspection, and that's 5 business days from contract acceptance date. During that time, an attorney can kill the deal. They can do it before, after, or during an inspection. It can be because of an inspection. It can be for nothing. But after an inspection, typically there are remedies that are asked for based on deficiencies found from the inspection, unless the client doesn't want any. It's sort of depends on the market, depends on the client, depends on the severity of the issue. And so that's typically the point that the attorney steps in. They look over the inspection, they go over it with clients. I typically have already addressed all of the issues with the client and given them my advice on what the market will support for them to ask for, if anything. We have an as-is clause in our contract, and if that has been signed, then that typically changes how a client's going to react to an inspection. But the attorney will write a letter. They ask for a bunch of things, like whether there's been insurance claims and a whole bunch of kind of things that they ask for every single transaction. I think they're just really almost form letters. And then they will add their inspection requests to the list, and they'll negotiate that with the other side's attorney. Now, some attorneys like to take it and run from there. I think that's a terrible idea. They usually have no idea of what the market is, or what's brought us to that point, or how hard we had to fight, or how many deals were lost, or how many multiple offers we had, or any of that stuff. So I love that my attorney consults with me, and we together can put together a cohesive plan for the client to follow. Clients will, hear us, listen to us, talk about it with us, and then make their decisions of how they want to move forward. Of course, it's all up to the client. And then the attorney handles all of the title stuff, surveys, HOA docs, payments. We have one that's got some tax payments. Anything really that comes under that umbrella goes through the attorney. And so they have to have a wide range of knowledge. They have to know how things are handled in different counties and different municipalities. Sometimes there are transfer fees. Sometimes there are, you have to have the final water bill at a certain time. And they need to know all of this and follow it and help the client take care of it all. Even our attorney's office we send something as well, but they will help them with changing utilities, setting them up in a new place, turning them off in the old place, and answering all of those questions. So it's really a lot of detail and a lot of communication. and they make sure that the deal really entails everything that the contract says and everything that the client thinks, and make sure that they buy the actual house. If you subscribe to Inman, there was an article a few years ago about a guy in Florida who decided to buy a house and didn't want to use an agent and didn't want to use an attorney, and just went through it himself, and was quite surprised after it was all said and done to find that he had bought a house and not the land it was built on. So imagine what that was like. There was another situation near here where it was new construction. It was a small builder. And so there was a developer, and then clients bought a lot and hired a builder to build on it. And the builder built on the wrong lot. So not having an attorney can put you in a pretty precarious situation. So I'm interested in hearing what it's like in your neighborhood and your market, and whether you use attorneys and whether you do all this yourself. If you do it all yourself, I am just amazed. I would not ever be able to be a realtor in one of those places. But tell me what your experience is like, and what's your favorite thing about attorneys, and what's your least favorite when you've worked with them. I've got some doozies from working with a few. So drop a comment and we'll talk soon.